a little bit like how normal threads are done, but not to get too technical, but because of that, I had to create this messaging system. Which I did. And then there's a system manager, which allows me to take an object and actually give it a file name, a file path, and I can save the file down, I can pull it up, I can save it as a graphics file, I can serialize it to all these types, and pull it across. Anyways. Now, in the Persistent Real Objects framework, I have the following. And this is pretty interesting, but the way I broke it up and was into messaging, network, system I/O, and the user interface, authentication, which is security in the framework itself. Anyways, if we go to the framework and we go inside the framework, we can see that we have architecture, compiler, dynamics, functions, mathematics, serialization, startup, and statics. And if we go to authentication, we can see that we have security, credentials, and user group. Messaging, we can see that we have the status messenger and the status message. We go to networking, we can see that we have client and server systems already pre-established, along with client server user control, which includes the packet latency gauge, which I'm working on. System I/O, which is for system access, just basically what's going on, plus authentication and what records everything, remember. And user interfaces, which is going to become the Visual 3D modeler because I do everything in Visual 3D. The Persistent Real Object Framework comes with its own Visual 3D modeling system. What my memory output functions look like. So all these are like AI dendrites, as you can see, and there's quite a bit of them. But this is all test stuff, so this is actually in that form. But if I was to open up any of them, you can see that it has a pattern. I'm not going to explain to you what that does. I'm just going to tell you that that's the information of the AI dendrite stored in a GIF file, or actually an image file, I should say. Those are all dendrites. So if I go down, I should find a neuron. There's a neuron. If I open up the neuron, as you can see, it's a little bit more complicated. But this image represents maybe the AI's thought process, like on how to move around in the maze, and I'll show you the maze here in a second. Putting on makeup, trying to feel pretty. Okay, this is an early test of the AI right here, and as you can see, that little dot right there is the AI trying to figure out how to move around. Had an 8 o'clock date with a man I hate to be. And there's his brain working so that you have an idea of what's going on. Now, in this case, he doesn't know what anything is, so he's actually trying to discover what a wall is and what a corner is and why he wants to make left turns and everything else. So I'm not going to tell you what all this stuff is, I'm just going to show you that it's kind of working, so you have an understanding. I think this is very important, that people see that the AI is actually solving the maze. Mind you, also, he can't see, so he can't perceive what's happening in front of him or what's happening behind him. He's just making brain movements and using memory to figure out where to go next. So he's basically blind. But that's a test of the AI system. But this is just a demonstration of choice modeling where he's making random choices based off of his biases which he's creating. He has an impulse bias, an immediate bias, a short-term bias, and a long-term bias, and his current action bias. Right now, it's just so rudimentary at this level that it's not even worth saying, but eventually, see this part of the maze? He's going to go inside here, and he's going to get stuck. He's going to start making decisions about what this whole place is, just from memory. He didn't even go in there. He went backwards. But anyways, he'll make a decision of what this place is, and then he's going to go backwards, and he's going to come up. He's either going to find a way out and then never come back here again because it didn't do anything. There's no target of interest, no nothing like that. So he'll figure it out when he figures it out. But I'll show you a better working model in the future. This is just so that you can see the evolution of how my AI began to evolve.